I see it. Okay.
And so now it's recording.
Okay.
So we can then, it gives you a link. And I think we found the best way is to kind of upload it to YouTube and then share that link with whoever else. So.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good.
I don't see Liz anymore. So.
Hold on a second. Yeah, it looks like we maybe lost her. Huh. Maybe she lost her connection. I know mine kind of froze. My internet is kind of off and on here, so.
Okay. Well, hopefully she'll be able to pop back in. So thank you for stepping up to kind of be our leader for this team. I appreciate it.
I don't know what I'm doing. So I appreciate your suggestions because I'm like, I don't know what people normally do in these things. So as far as the meetings and planning.
I've led before, but unfortunately I haven't had workers, kind of people that really wanted to do this. So they're like, oh, I'll do the cup, but I don't want to let anyone down. And a lot of people in my groups got 0 points. It was pretty much me and maybe one other that really kind of pushed and made a difference. So I'm excited. All of you guys seem like you're like, I want to be in this. So
Right.
fun to kind of get each other together, maybe talk about what our plan is for the month. I loved the thing that you sent us. I printed it out.
Yes, that actually came from, I think Julie was part of some elite group or something. So she shared that with us. I'm like because, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, 15, 16 points. How am I going to break that down? And so it was nice to have that.
Kind of reverse engineer and break it down into the smaller little goals that you can do. So I like that. So I think I just kind of wrote down 1, 2, 3 of you are emeralds. And
right.
Elizabeth is not.
I know just from, Elizabeth said she just started in November. And she was just mentioning she had a couple people that she already had lined up, hopefully, for the first couple days of the month. So
good.
And then we lost her.
I know, unfortunately.
And what I did was I went through like my customer list online because I definitely want to commit to 10, and I'm even going to try to push it to 15, depending on, some days time and whatnot. So I pulled through my like kind of top leads off of, so that way I'm kind of ready to hit the ground running tomorrow to get started for the first few days. So
yeah, I would recommend to everyone kind of start that running list of who you have, just names on a list that you can start inviting. Because again, 10 a day, it kind of sounds like a lot, but if you already have the list of names written down, you're like, okay,
right.
Start at the top of the list and go for now.
And I think that's what I'm going to do every night to prepare for the next day, have at least 10 plus on my list. And so that way I'm not having to sit through, I like to get my invites out of the way because otherwise, it's not really stalling, but something interrupts or whatever. That way I'm ready
get it done
in the morning. So I guess what I'm struggling with is because, like, honestly, I'm sitting at 2 this month, and I seem to tap out between 2 and 4 because, I'm always going back through my old list, but I'm not getting new, like fresh people in as much. So it's a lot of the same people. Like Julie says, anybody that's liking your post, and I go back and reinvite them. But when I'm looking at, like, I went back through the last couple weeks post, it's a lot of the people I've talked to in the last week. So it's not fresh people, I guess, is what I'm struggling with.
And I've been doing this for 5 years, so I kind of already tapped into my whole warm market. Start off with your friends and family. You already have that trust in them. And then I would kind of say, well, who do those people know? I think it sometimes helps if you think about inviting people. I definitely think personal invites get the best response, but think about like a group of people that are already connected, kind of have their own little tribe. Maybe it's a group of high school friends or a group of college friends, or a group of moms, or a group of people from a book club. Because they're already connected, you could maybe present it to that group and say, hey, I'm doing this. Would you like to do it together? And then they'll have friends that will do it with them. That's
a good idea. Do like more of a group approach. And I know my husband, because my husband's in Korea, so I'm trying to, the military angle is great for my family, and go and start approaching some of his friends and having him help me with that because, he's built trust with them. But the finding new people, because it's really strange because I'm in South Carolina and my neighbors don't talk to each other here. Like seriously, like I try to, because I don't work outside of the house. So I have really, really struggled with meeting new people down here. And I take my dogs out every day and I try to say hi to people, and most people don't even respond.
How long have you lived there?
Almost 3 years.
Okay. because my husband's a physician and we've moved for his doctor training. So kind of, I know what it's like kind of starting all over, trying to meet new people.
Right.
I think sometimes, especially if you do work in the home, you have to kind of force yourself to kind of get out,
Right.
join other groups, or if you have kids, get involved in the school so you can kind of meet people that way, or get involved in a local newcomers group or a local book club or a local some other hobby you have, just so that you do have fresh people that you're meeting.
Right. So that's been kind of like, I think that's been the hardest part for me, because I'm like, I have this list. I'm email, a lot of these people, it's just the constant putting it off, not wanting to get started is what, I struggle with the new people that are coming in, and kind of wishy-washy. And so it's just kind of I think working on my phrasing and the intention in my posts is what I've really been trying to work on in the last month, and of my invites, to change the language around a little bit too.
And also I think kind of putting up like a sense of urgency, like my group starts maybe this date and you'll need to order by such and such to get this, or I only have 5 spots. And kind of that sense of urgency, like, oh, it's not open to everyone. I only have 5 limited. It's a small limited group. 5 spots.
Okay.
Ooh, well, I better get one of those spots. That's
what do you do as far as, because like I start about my next group is actually starting tomorrow. And so I started, I started putting it on my calendar about 2 weeks in advance, and then probably about 3 or 4 days out from that. And then a couple times a week after that, I kind of work into my posts, the group, to kind of keep the reminders and the invite going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think that's...
most people say start inviting 2 to 3 weeks out, because you kind of, it's kind of a process to kind of first get them to think about it, and then kind of that back and forth emails, and then for them to order it. It is nice now with the on demand that they are able to get the workouts right away.
Right.
But they don't get that nutrition, they don't get the containers yet right away. So I really try to get them to order, at least get the stuff about a week before. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of you have utilized kind of like a Wufoo form or a Google form, something that kind of speeds up that back and forth process of emails about, hey, you're interested in the group, great. I'm so excited you're interested in my group. Before I give you all the details, can I find out a little bit about you? Would you mind filling out this form?
Is that where it's like a link they click on?
Yeah, my team and I have been utilizing that, and I think it helps really weed out the people that are interested versus committed. The people that take the time to fill out that Wufoo form, I think, are more ready to make the change. And then it makes the questions that I ask, they take the time to answer them. It's not really always just quick one-word answers, and you get an idea of what they've done before with their health and fitness, what are their struggles, and then you yourself can kind of say, hey, this may be the best program for them or not. Maybe
that's a good idea.
So then instead of all that back and forth emails waiting, are they going to respond? You get that back, and then you say, thanks for filling out that form. Let's get on the phone and chat. So you already have all that information, so you already can kind of, again, speed it up.
So when you do, because I've seen the Google Forms. So if you
share an example, I can share my Wufoo form in our group so people can kind of see it. I use Wufoo, it's just what was presented to me, and it was easy, but I know other people do Google Forms.
So when you get those back, do the responses get emailed to you?
With Wufoo, they get emailed to me. So they go into my email, but then they also are saved on Wufoo. So with Wufoo, you get 3 free. So I have I call it a free consult, which is what I give to prospects of challenge groups. I have an exit survey. So when people are finished with the challenge group, to kind of report what inches, weight they lost, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they would continue. And then the third one, I think, is maybe like a 5-day eat clean or something.
Okay. Okay. I think I might try that, because that's what I've been feeling like. I feel like I need to tweak something with that, because it's just not getting the information you need or the feedback, or like you said, if they take the time to fill out that form, you're more likely to, get a response or get on that phone call. So,
and another thing too, I think a lot of us, and I was doing this for a long time too, is trying to sell to everyone. And so here I'm having this group and whoever wants to join can. And I think when you kind of think about your target market niche, your audience, how are you going to stand out from the rest of the 400,000 Beachbody coaches? What is we all have the same products. We all get the same compensation plan. Why would someone want to specifically work with you? And try to kind of convey that with your brand and kind of make that out there. So
right. That makes sense. Yeah, so I don't know, because I just, like I said, I'm still relatively new, less than a year, and I kind of feel like I'm not stuck, but so like I said, I've just been working on the intention, what I've been saying, and like you said, that market you want to hit, because I still have a lot of weight to lose. So sometimes you just kind of feel like, um, unless you start getting like the most fantastic results ever, people don't want to join sometimes is what I feel like. They want to lose 50 pounds in a month, so it doesn't happen. Sometimes that's just kind of how I feel.
Some people are just looking for the quick fix. They're not looking for the lifestyle change, which we're more about that you have to put in. It's not a quick fix. It's hard work.
Exactly. So, yeah.
But people can relate to you that you're on the journey, you're making the steps. So if you can kind of take that first step and get that going, so can they.
Right. Well, do you want to go ahead and plan on, I guess since everybody else will be kind of watching the recording, maybe Sunday nights you think work for kind of doing a weekly check-in on Zoom? Or
it sounded like it was working with other people, but I don't know why they're not on tonight. But if we can kind of ask in the group tomorrow if that's still good for everyone. I just know it works well for me.
Right.
And then I don't know if you guys currently have like accountability partners or success partners, someone that you report in, check in, or want to within our group say, every day, let's post names of who we invited. Not even just number of people, I think names, because it makes it that much more real and more accountable. Because I know I slack off on that too sometimes. It's like, oh, I know I should invite, but I'm just going to put up a mass invite. But I think those personal invites, it's the first vital behavior is invite. And I know that was one of the reasons why my business hasn't grown as fast as I wanted to, is because I'm not doing those daily invitations.
Right. Well, and that was what I changed this year. I started doing more journaling. Last year I was doing the reading, but it was like I'd start a book and not finish it, and then I'd go to another one. I was kind of all over the place with what material, because I was like, oh, that one looks good, let me go over that one, and I wouldn't finish the other one. And so this year, that was one of the things I did. I've been keeping an ongoing list, because my minimum just for regular was 2 to 3 invites a day at least. But, I obviously wanted to up it for this competition too. So
is that Elizabeth again?
Oh,
yes, I'm sorry. My phone died.
Oh, okay.
So I'm keeping an ongoing list throughout the year just to keep, because otherwise I don't keep myself accountable enough. Like you said, it'll be like, oh, okay, I did, 3 posts or an invite on Facebook, and I, let it slide for that day or something. And I don't want to do that.
So Elizabeth, we were just chatting about trying for all of us to stay accountable and do it maybe within the group, and every day, kind of at the end of the day, report in the number of invites we did, and also maybe names of who we invited, just so that it really it makes it more real that those are the people we're trying to help. They're not just a Success Club point, there's a person behind it. But also I know a lot of us can say, oh, well, I'll just maybe just send out a big post on my Facebook page and not do those personal invites, which I think is what more people respond to, those personal invites. And I don't know if there's other things, you guys are at the stage where you still want to report, I drank my shake, I did this exercise, or if you just want to focus on the inviting this month.
I mean, I kind of do a little bit of both. I mean, I make sure I try to make 3 posts or something on social media as far as like something motivational, then holding myself accountable for my own workout, my own Shakeology and that kind. And then, kind of a game plan for the next day, like something either, what I'm going to be doing the next day as far as fitness and my own stuff. I did kind of have a question as far as, because I'm still kind of breaking into the scene. What, as far as like invites, what do you guys usually include in that? Like, you just kind of touch base with somebody, or, I mean, do you have, yes, like, do you guys have specific dialogue that you guys kind of include with your invites?
When I first started, have you gone into the back office and read through the 5-step invitation process?
Oh, I haven't. I mean, I've been trying to like figure out the website and all that, but I haven't got to that yet. No.
I would start there, just because it's a system that many coaches use, and it has verbiage. It has, if they say this objection, here's kind of an answer. So for new people, I think that would be a great resource. I can post that within our group and also kind of point to how to find it in the back office. And they may even have a video with a little bit of role playing about that. That's actually what we're going to do on my team's team call this week, because we have quite a few newer coaches. It's just kind of going over different ways of inviting. You can invite in person, you could invite in like a private message, Facebook message, or even like a mass invite on your Facebook page. So we were going to kind of give 3 samples, and I may be able, if we record it, to share it within our this group too, so you guys can see that. But I mean, initially you just want to say something genuine about the person. You can start off the email just saying something that you realize about their life. Hey, just checking in. How are you doing? And then kind of lead it into, I saw you were going away for spring break. I was wondering, I'm starting this online accountability group. Would you be interested? And you want to make sure you don't give too much information right away. You want to kind of have them pique that curiosity and have them say, well, what is this about? And I was sharing with Megan, something that I often do is when they do show interest is I don't go right in and say, oh, well, it's the 21-day fix. It comes with this. This is how much it is. I said, thank you so much for your interest. But before I provide the details, can you tell me a little bit more about you? To get those questions from them, to show that you care. And then we were talking about using like a Google form or a Wufoo form with specific questions, finding out what they've done in the past, what their struggles are, what are their goals, so that you have all that information. Instead of sending emails back and forth and wasting a lot of time that way, those people that take the time to fill out that form already show that they're kind of committed to take the next step. And then once I get that back, I say, oh, thanks for filling it out. Let's get on the phone now. And then you can kind of chat because you already have their answers there. And it kind of speeds up the process and helps you point them to the best solution for their goals.
Okay. That's great. Yeah.
And I know that a lot of, I felt so out of touch because really, honestly, for a while, I really wasn't even on Facebook a lot until I started coaching.
There's a lot of coaches like that.
Because we've lived all over the place. I felt so out of touch with people that the people that I have started following back up with, I'm kind of just, first note, I will just kind of like trying to build just rapport. I don't want to just be like, hi, how's it been for 20 years? And you want to learn more about an accountability group. So it's really, and a lot of people, I've actually built back up some pretty good friendships that way too. So I don't mention really anything. And a lot of times I found that they're like, oh, I've seen, what you're doing. It's really motivating. And they might not want to do anything now, but at least we've started building up a, conversation again.
They start thinking of you as a resource. So when they are ready, they're like, oh yeah, my friend Megan, she was doing something with fitness and accountability. Maybe I should reach out to her.
Right.
One of the points that I'm at now is I've kind of become that resource in the community that people know what I do. And they are kind of like, maybe I haven't talked to them in a while, but I get an email saying, oh, when's your next group? I'm ready to kind of do something. So.
Right. So I would say I start on Facebook for, just a lot of mine and always offer the phone, if they want to keep the conversation going. But I really am interested in looking at doing that form.
Okay. Another thing that sometimes is helpful is if you are on Facebook, kind of in the bottom right, they have that chat and there's a number.
Yes.
One, I try to post when that number is high. So I know a lot of my people are on and it would more likely get on their news feed. And then also I look at that chat and then I'll just start conversations within that chat, kind of a live back and forth with someone to kind of catch up. How are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes it can kind of go into an invitation to.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's good.
So are you both planning on doing 21-day fix challenge groups? Like, do you have a date set within February? Are you already set for February? You're not going to start inviting until you're ready for your March group. Where are you guys at with that?
February, I'm doing any trainer, any flavor, because I actually was on the second month of Insanity Max, but that seems to scare a lot of people that I know. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to leave that open. And then I'm already planning 21-day fix for March 7th.
And do you have enough people for that already?
No. I have 5 people in February, and I have probably 1, maybe 2 that have already committed to 21-day fix. But they already have the program, and they're using Shakeology consistently already. So
it's no one new. Okay.
No one new.
I just feel like looking at the calendar, the 8th, it's soon. It's a week away. So I'm starting to invite now for a group that starts on the 15th. So it gives me a little bit of time to kind of get those invitations out, get that conversations going. And the hard thing too is always kind of that timing, because some people are like, well, I want to order and I'm ready to start right now. And you're like, but my group doesn't start until the 15th. So you kind of have to judge that. But, so, and you said and how about you, Elizabeth, you have not done a group yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I've been really trying to brainstorm, more of thinking of one in March, because I have in our hometown, it must be in the water, everybody's pregnant and all their due dates are March.
Okay.
So I've been talking with these soon-to-be moms, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to start something, as soon as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really been thinking of a really good time would be in that March, when these soon-to-be moms are moms and they're ready to get back their pre-pregnancy bodies.
Mm-hmm. I just know I have two kids who are older now, 10 and 7. But I mean, after you have your kid, usually if you have a C-section, then you can't work out for six weeks. If they're breastfeeding, sometimes they don't want to do Shakeology, even though some people do drink Shakeology while they're breastfeeding. So just some things to kind of to think about, that they may not be like, oh, baby popped out, I'm ready to go right away. So I love the idea, and you definitely have a group that you can kind of lead and they'll be ready. But I don't know if March would be too quick for them.
Have you?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to change this kind of slightly detour.
Well, I was just going to say, don't they recommend, like, especially if they hadn't been exercising previously, at least the 6-week checkup, if they're just right about where they're about to deliver under a normal pregnancy delivery situation, 6-week checkup.
That's true.
Something like that.
So probably more like 6. Yeah, that's true. So it might be a better idea, more of an April type challenge group then.
Are you both moms?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
You both have
yes.
kids? Okay. Something that I'm doing, because again, you want to kind of be relevant in the moment. So what's coming up in March? A lot of schools have off on spring break. So a lot of people may be vacationing. So I'm doing my challenge for February is Reach the Beach. 21-day challenge. I have my target market is moms with school-aged kids. So kind of we start about February 15th. That's going to get us to just about spring break time in March. So they'll kind of get confident. They'll feel great right before vacation.
That's good.
That's an idea. I mean, I've done a lot of the different programs, and kind of like you, Megan, I started with Insanity, and a lot of people, they hear that word and they're just scared by it. So I think,
and I'm like, look, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I have to modify the modifier sometime, but I'm doing it. And this is my second round, but last year when I did it, I was kind of, halfway through, my husband and I were doing it together, and then he went to Korea, and I was kind of like hit or miss. I did all the workouts, but like the third weekend on month 1, I missed like 3. So I did doubles for like 3 days in a row. And I was like, why did I do this to myself? So I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I was like 100% on the workouts. It's like, that's an hour with Shaun T is too much some days, so.
But I feel like the 21-day fix, a lot of people can benefit from that. And if they already have a good base of fitness, they could do the extreme. So do you guys know, is the extreme also on sale for February, or just the regular?
I think it's the regular and the extreme. And then what do they call the, when it has a 3-day refresh with it, the jumpstart or kickstart? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth, one thing I was thinking that might be good with spring break coming up too, with the whole beach theme, because I have a couple people, I'm also tentatively planning a 3-day refresh in March. So that might be another good one for pre-spring break if you've got people that are taking trips, because you can get the Shakeology and the 3-day refresh. I think it's $140 or something like that, $140 or $160. So, because that's 3 days, and then just using the Shakeology, and you could do like a month with Shakeology tips, suggestions.
Most people that do just a pure Shakeology challenge group, and just making healthy choices. It doesn't have to be any exercise. They can pick whatever exercise they want on their own. And a lot of times too, for those programs which are just $140, like the 21-day fix when it's on sale, or the 3-day refresh challenge pack when it's on sale, you can say, if you order Shakeology for $10 more, you can also get all this other stuff.
Right.
That's a great, because I'm a size live instructor. So since that's on sale now, I really could like play into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Good. I'd have to use that.
Size 3-day refresh or 3-day refresh after Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Couples go out, wine and chocolate, and so that could be something also. Starting on the 15th, 3-day refresh. Have you both done the 3-day refresh?
Yeah, I loved it. It was a little hard the first day when because I had a little bit of a headache, but just kept up the water a little bit, and by the second day I was fine. I slept like a baby when I was doing that thing too. So, and I dropped, I think, like 5 pounds, and I mean, I kept it off. So, as long as you don't go back into eating like crazy or anything, and you just feel good, you just feel lighter. So,
yep.
Yeah, I haven't got to try it yet. I'm really interested in doing it, but I haven't yet.
Okay.
I had what is the it was the fiber sweep that I had, the people that were in the group, and I hadn't done it yet, so I wasn't really prepared for it. So I learned really about making sure the water was really cold and shake. I was like, the taste really didn't bother me, but I had people that didn't like the texture of that.
You drink it right away or else it starts to get gelatinous.
Yeah, well, that's what I told them. It's like drinking chia seeds after they've been in water, so that was nasty. So
I think it tastes like
that was really the only
water.
I thought it was really good. I didn't feel like, a lot of people said they were so hungry, and I'm like, I really didn't feel like, but I guess depending on how you're eating before you start, it'll make a difference. So
that's true. I had a girl who just bought the 3-day cleanse with the 21-day fix and the Shakeology, the whole challenge package. Mm-hmm. And so she started her 3-day cleanse Friday. So, but she's loving it. I mean, she says she's not hungry. She feels like she already has so much energy, and
try to be a collector of stories. So some of your customers that get great results, see if you're able to ask them, hey, can I use your before and after pictures, or can I use some of your statements of things that you say, and use that to help invite more people and get more interest into your next group.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do any of you have like pages? Like a
like
page?
No.
Megan, did you say yes?
Yeah, I just set mine up actually last month, so I've been using that.
Okay, I'm just curious if you have that. It's just another way to reach more people and kind of more people that, instead of just your friends on your profile page, who could be anyone, more people that are interested in what you have to offer, let's say. Right. We have about 10 minutes left before call. Any other questions or things that we want to go, like, are we going to try to use this calendar that you sent as our benchmarks, as our goal, and try to hit the Success Club 4 by the 5th and that?
Yes, that's what I'd say. I think it's a great way, great visual.
Okay. So I would kind of say, one, I think everyone needs to determine when their challenge group is starting so that you have a date of what to invite people to. Mm-hmm. Not just kind of keep it open, but what are you inviting people to? And again, that kind of sense of urgency that it's coming up, and are you in or are you out?
Right.
And I'll share the document about inviting, and also that Wufoo link, that Wufoo link, so you can kind of see that form.
Great.
Have you guys gone through a Coach Basics group with Julie?
Yes, I believe so. We had a call about, I think it was earlier last month. With some of the basics.
Just a call, or was it like a 10-day, kind of like a challenge group, but you learn the basics of coaching?
No, the one I had with her was just a phone call, like a 45-minute phone call.
Get started right kind of phone call to get your business started? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, she kind of like walked us through the online office and kind of some hot spots to hit on there.
Because when you do go through that Coach Basics type of training program, and you can kind of do it yourself kind of in the back office, there's just some basic things and just like wording for inviting, or how to handle objections, or how to place an order on Coach Mobile from your phone to kind of, again, speed up the process. Just some basic things that can kind of help you initially in the business. So I was just curious if you'd been through that or not. Because Julie's not I'm not directly under Julie. My upline coach Sandra's under Julie, so.
Yeah, and you might just want to, because I went through one of those groups too, and it was kind of sad because a lot of people, they weren't getting but it was, you just got like kind of little mini call to actions to kind of practice some of the things. And you might want to just send her a message, because usually I think it was a couple other coaches that were kind of in charge of running it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I like what the prizes are too. I know I'm motivated by those little prizes too. Because my husband and I are doing that right now. So
yeah,
you're cutting out, Elizabeth.
that's exciting.
Oh.
Can you repeat that, Elizabeth?
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what you said. You froze.
Oh, I didn't see that. I know, it was kind of in and out.
Okay. Anything else that you guys want to cover?
Oh yeah, you guys are freezing.
No,
I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. I'll post that to the group. So every day, let's try to stay accountable, who we invited, number and names, and then share what's working for you, what you're struggling with. Say, hey, I put up this post. I got great response. If you want to kind of create something similar, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Sounds good. Well, it was nice putting some faces to names.
All righty. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.